What's up everyone, Solar J here again to show you 5 tips that will allow you to upgrade from boring beats like this one to groovy ones like this one. Tip number 1. The impulse waveform. At the beginning I thought, what can I do with this click thingy? You know, the impulse goes something like this. Like, okay, what can I do with this? You know, it's just a click. Is it even worth having a whole dedicated synth engine for a click? And now I think definitely it is. And let me show you a couple of things on how to use it. So let's take this track. And the first thing you can do is to use the impulse to add body to your kick. Let's see how. So the impulse basically has a flat spectrum, more or less a flat spectrum. So we can actually use this filter to enhance any frequency we want for our kick, for instance. We want to add body, we want to be like in the lower region, something like this. And you can hear already that if I add resonance, maybe we add, somehow the volume is low here, you have to go to like kind of crazy levels, but you can already see that like this. And you can even choose the notes, so if your kick goes like, you can copy this track, paste it on the impulse, and now if we solo these two, this is both together, and this is only the kick. Nice, right? And you can tune it as much as you want. This is cool, and you can also use it to add, you know, click. Now your kick is very punchy and it's gonna cut through everything you have in your beat. You can even use some envelope like this. Try to achieve both body and click, and yeah, this is how it sounds without the impulse on the kick, and this is when we add the impulse. Quite a difference, right? You can even use it to add, you know, some offbeat kind of movement to this beat. Maybe changing it a little bit. Tip number 2. So these hats, they're okay, but they're very mono and in our face, and to my knowledge there is no direct way to add stereo field to a track on the rhythm, so I found this workaround. If you go to the LFO section of this track, you can select the pan in the amp section, and yeah, it goes like this, right? Left and right. But what happens if we increase the speed to a crazy amount? So this is with and this is without. This is very mono, and here we have some kind of stereo information because the signal is going left and right very fast. But it also adds some distortion. So what I do, I try to find like a sweet spot where, you know, it's not mono like this, but it's not even like distorted in a weird way. So something like this, you know, and then together. Mono. Oops, not mono. Tip number 3, something I really like and many producers that I love do a lot, is to add a reverse sound before the snare hit. So let's take, I don't know, this track and add a hi-hat sample. I should have something, yeah, this one. Exactly. We can just reverse it by swapping the start and the end in the sample section. So then, you know, the snare is on the 3rd beat in our beat. So now it's a bit off. We want to have it end exactly before the snare hits. Something like that. And usually I also add some filtering because, you know, to make it less, maybe some envelope as well, so it moves a little. Tip number 4. Another way to spice up your beat is to use the noise engine this time. And, you know, like this is a bit too much, and also is mono again. So what I usually do, I add some offbeat, like maybe after the snare, make it a bit shorter, make it stereo like we did before, the pan trick, faster. And maybe some reverb. It's already much more groovy, right? Tip number 5, this in my opinion is the most important tip. To move the drum hits off the grid. If you try to put your favorite electronic music track on the grid of a DAW, you will likely see that not all the hits are perfectly on the grid. This is because many producers want to add some groove, some movement, and make their beats sound less robotic. On the rhythm we can do this with micro timing. Let's try to make our pattern more groovy, and I'm going to save the kit on another slot, this kit that we have now, so that we can compare the groovy with the robotic one. Let's do that. This is our robotic kit. Let's move to first one and start moving around stuff. Let's start with this ride, right? One rule of thumb is that if you move things to the left, you're gonna add urgency to the beat. If you move things to the right, you're gonna add drag. And, you know, you just have to experiment it. For rides, I like to make it a bit earlier. Let's make it a bit extreme so we can hear it. And we give it 3 units of nudge. We do a similar thing with the hi-hats, but this time we move them some forward and some backwards, right? Yeah, something like this, to add a bit of human feel. Then the snare, I like it to make it a bit delayed, you know, so it's a bit draggy. For the kick, you need to pay attention because, of course, they're the foundation of our beat, and if you move them too much, you're gonna get weird results. But on the other hand, it gives you also the possibility to add something unique, you know, to sculpt your beat even more. So, for instance, this hit, I like it to be a bit delayed, you know, like. Then, of course, you need to also do that for our impulse. So it's like tutum, bam. It makes a bit more of a statement, kind of. And finally, what do we have? Ah, yeah, we have our, you know, our offbeat hits. And now I deleted. And these one are actually very nice to you know, adjust. There is no golden rule for this nudging of the grid, and usually what I do, I just try many different things until my head is moving up and down and I feel like that the beat is grooving. And now it feels natural if you listen to it, but let's compare it with what, you know, we said before, the robotic one. This is the robotic one. And this is the nudged one. It's a very small difference, but somehow you want to dance to this more than the other one. And yeah, there's room for a lot of experimentation on this nudging, but I think it's a very important thing to do, and a lot of people do it, especially in dance music. Okay, this brings us to the end of the video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of this content, and slap a like before you go. Ciao, see you next time.